that are spelled out.
I mean, Kirby, shouldn't somebody be fired and held accountable? I mean, the family said we called a number of times. We had the evidence, and we were just told via letter that, no, we don't see any evidence of abuse here. No, that doesn't seem like that's should be normal operating procedure.
You're absolutely correct. And I mean, I've dealt with this on both sides as a prosecutor and as a defense lawyer. As a defense lawyer, I've seen overkill on cases that didn't deserve it. And then as a prosecutor, I've seen cases where you're like, who did you talk to, as he just indicated? And somebody should be fired, number one. And then also perhaps prosecuted, because if they say that they spoke to people that they didn't speak to, then this little boy could have been spared. And the other thing is, what is the protocol? If there's physical injury, perhaps that should require additional steps. And it didn't seem to me that that happened here. The law.
Okay.
FERPA,
you did
the
break
Federal
the law.
Education Rights Privacy Act, FERPA, which I used to deal with when I was a prosecutor. You can't disclose private information like that. So although I understand there may have been a waiver involved, but the simple fact of the matter is you can't disclose that information. You can't disclose a kid's grades to the public. Why would you disclose this?
Well, we finally But is public shaming the answer?
Absolutely not.
I think it makes it worse
for this kid. I mean, why would you put this kind of pressure on a little kid? Kids doing stupid things is kind of part of being a kid. So you work with him to keep him from not becoming a problem on society when he gets older. But public shaming, that's unnecessary, and it will not solve the problem.
It actually, we had water guns.
They don't have it.
I'm serious. They were 99 cents thrifty.
When you were 6, but you know what? We've been having airsoft. I think you can actually shoot somebody with. I mean, because that's part of the whole process. Whereas when I was a kid, you read the comic books. They sold the Daisy BB gun in those comic books. So they've been around for a while. So the fact that the kid misused the airsoft rifle is an issue, and that's about proper use of the rifle. But still, public shaming,
one issue.
Unnecessary.
That's one issue.
And he might need to go to an alternative school where they can have programs specifically,
deal with anger issues.
Because he says he has anger issues, which is a pretty bold thing for a child to say, I think. At that age.
He's got to.
But Kirby, you were saying this is where sometimes you just can't help these kids. You just got to know how to protect yourself. And when you see a mob of kids, you just know it ain't good. So what do you do?
No, absolutely, because I used to head or be second in command of a unit that prosecuted juveniles as adults and also school crimes. And I'll tell you, what I noticed is that a lot of the victims would always say, I saw a group of teens coming in my direction or pointing towards me or walking in the same direction I was going, and then I was attacked. And I would hear that story over and over again, and I finally said, well, perhaps when you see a group of teens coming in your direction and they're pointing at you or they're laughing, put some distance. I'm not saying run, but I mean, you need to be at a distance away from them so they can't knock you out, because we had this problem in New York as well.
So what do you think? I don't know. I kind of agree with the first viewer that it just puts the wrong impression out there immediately.
I agree.
You know, there's a lot of pervs out there.
There really is a lot of pervs out there, and you know what? Most people associate the internet with, a lot of porn. I think it's a major thing on there. You get a little kid putting herself in a sexy pose on there. She gets swept along in that current without even knowing about it.
Well, and no matter, what you think some of these apps work.
And it's good to know.
I know about it now. My daughter has Kick, but when I tell you that we are on that, like, you have no
White
business,
on rice.
I am on it, and I'm that crazy dad.
That's it.
You should
We gotta stop being
okay to be a little crazy.
Mom.
You say it's hard, Kirby.
No, it's hard. I mean, school, my child's schoolwork is online, so my kid's going to be online anyway. So I'm even with my son, I'm like, I don't want you online. Or I can't do my homework. And doggone it, he was right. So,